Good afternoon, everyone. We'll get started in just a few minutes.
歡迎各位今天參加我哋幾分鐘之後就會開始。
Buenas tardes, en breve comenzaremos.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. This meeting will have simultaneous English, Spanish, and Cantonese interpretation. I will turn it over to the interpreters to give you instructions on how to set up the language interpretation in Zoom.
In order to provide language access, this meeting will have simultaneous interpretation in Spanish and Cantonese. If you are on a laptop or desktop, after we are done with this announcement, you will see a globe at the bottom right corner of your screen. Please click on the globe icon that says Interpretation and select English. If you are on an iPad or a similar device, locate the three-dot menu on the upper right and select Language Interpretation, then select English. When it is your turn to speak, please remember to speak loud and clear and at a moderate pace, as the interpreters will be interpreting simultaneously into other languages. Thank you. Para facilitar el acceso a servicios de idioma, esta reunión contará con interpretación simultánea en español. Si está usando una computadora portátil o de escritorio, una vez que hayamos terminado con este anuncio, verá un globo terráqueo en la parte de abajo derecha de su pantalla. Por favor, seleccione el icono del globo terráqueo que dice Interpretation, es decir, interpretación, y seleccione Spanish, es decir, español. Si está usando un iPad o un dispositivo similar, ubique el menú de 3 puntos en la parte de arriba hacia la derecha y seleccione Language Interpretation, que significa interpretación de idiomas. Luego seleccione Spanish, es decir, español. Cuando sea su turno para hablar, por favor recuerde hablar claro y en voz alta y a un ritmo moderado, ya que los intérpretes estarán interpretando simultáneamente al otro idioma. Muchas gracias.
Hi, George, are you able to review the slide for us?
歡迎各位參加今日嘅會議，我係你哋嘅廣東話傳譯員。以下就係介紹下點樣利用 Zoom 裏邊聽到我哋廣東話翻譯嘅方法。各位睇到，如果係各位用手提電腦或者係桌面電腦嘅話咧，喺呢次公告之後，喺熒光幕嘅右下方，你會見到一個地球嘅標誌。請點擊有關傳譯 Interpretation 嘅地球標誌，選擇你要嘅語言。喺今日嘅係 Cantonese， 即係廣東話。如果你係使用平板電腦，例如 iPad 或者係類似嘅電子產品，請喺右上方揾出3點，並且喺選擇中拉落語言傳譯 Language Interpretation， 然後選擇廣東話。當你哋有需要發言發問嘅時候咧，請你哋記住發言嘅時候大聲啲、清晰啲，並且以比較慢嘅語速發言，好讓我幫你哋即時傳譯視為中文問問題。多謝各位，會議即將開始。
Welcome, and thank you for joining our $1,442 stipend Q&A webinar. We have a light agenda because we want to dedicate our time to answering your questions. But before we get to the Q&A, I'm going to go over the stipends, their eligibility requirements, and the ARPA survey, which you must complete by June 1st, 2023 to receive your stipend. Before we begin, I also want to do some housekeeping. You can pose questions in the Q&A, and you are also able to upvote them. Before you ask a question, look at the Q&A to see if your question is already there. If it is, you can upvote it. We will answer questions in order of the most votes that have been received. Next slide, please. In the next part of our presentation, we will give you an overview of the $1,442 stipend. Next slide, please. Who is eligible for the stipend? If you are a child care provider who serves children receiving subsidies in April of 2022 from the programs listed below, you will be eligible for a stipend. These programs are CalWORKS Stage 1, CalWORKS Stage 2, and CalWORKS Stage 3, the California Alternative Payment Program, the Migrant Alternative Payment Program, the General Child Care and Development Program, the Migrant Child Care and Development Program, Family Child Care Home Education Networks, the Child Care and Development Services for Children with Special Needs, and the Emergency Child Care Bridge Program for foster children. Providers who have permanently closed their child care since April of 2022 are not eligible for these stipends. Next, I will turn it over to Rachel Stewart. Next slide, please.
Thanks, Jigna. How will stipends be issued? Most providers will receive their stipend from the agency that issues their regular child care reimbursement, such as the Alternative Payment Program or a Family Child Care Home Education Network contractor. Providers who care for a child in the Stage 1 or Bridge program and are paid by the County Human Services Department or County Welfare Department will receive their stipend from the Foundation for California Community Colleges. If this applies to you, you should have received communication already telling you to complete the ARPA survey and to complete a secure tax form to access your stipend funding. If you have not received this communication, please contact the Foundation to receive a link to the tax form, and we'll put the contact information for the Foundation in the chat. If you are paid by the County Human Services or Welfare Department because you care for a child enrolled in the Stage 1 or Bridge program, you can reach out to the Foundation for California Community Colleges for questions about our ARPA survey and questions that you might have about your stipend. The stipends are taxable. Next slide, please. What do I need to do to receive my $1,442 stipend? You must take the ARPA survey by June 1st, 2023. The next part of our presentation goes into what you need to do to receive your stipend if you are eligible. Next slide, please. To do a little level setting, the ARPA survey has been revised. It was revised last summer to meet federal requirements. All providers must complete the new survey, even if they completed the version that was released prior to July 2022. However, if you completed the survey since July, you do not need to complete it again. One survey per license number is required, so a single center with multiple license numbers must complete multiple surveys. And for license-exempt centers, one survey per site must be completed. All providers eligible for the $1,442 stipend must complete the survey before they can receive payment. Required fields are marked with an asterisk and must be completed in order for the survey to be accepted. Now I'll turn it over to Corey to give you a tour of our ARPA survey webpage.
Thanks, Rachel. Okay, so I am sharing on our screen our ARPA survey webpage. And on this webpage, you can find links to our ARPA survey. You can see at the top, we have our survey deadline. So we are asking that all providers complete the survey by June 1st, 2023. We also have a description of the upcoming investments that are tied to the ARPA survey. So you need to complete the ARPA survey to receive your $14.42 per child stipend and to receive a supplemental rate payment if you're a direct service contractor or a private center. We have links to the live ARPA survey, and you can see that we have the survey translated into different languages. So we have it translated into Spanish, Chinese, Russian, Somali, and Arabic. And then we also have some links to some helpful resources. So this links to our ARPA investment overview. And I just want to note that this is also translated into Spanish and Chinese. So this is the ARPA investment overview, which details all of the American Rescue Plan Act investments that have gone out. And the investments highlighted in green are still going out. And the investments that are highlighted in red are no longer going out. We also have links to hard copies of our survey if you would prefer to complete the survey on paper, and either email it to us at ccpb@dss.ca.gov or mail it to us at this address. The webpage is also translated into Spanish and Chinese. And we also have some helpful resources on the sidebar. So if you want to join our CCDD listserv, you can do that by clicking this link. We also have links to our ARPA frequently asked questions webpage, which I will go over now. So this webpage is organized according to subcategories. So the first subcategory is who is eligible to complete the ARPA survey. The second is how to successfully complete the ARPA survey. And I'm going to go over this top question because it's a frequent question that we receive. If you entered, so what do I do if I made a mistake on my ARPA survey? If you entered your license number incorrectly, please retake the survey, as well as if you're license exempt or a family, friend, and neighbor caregiver, and you made a mistake entering your home address, email, or phone number, please retake the survey. And we ask you to do both of these things because your license number, if you're licensed, and your address, email, or phone number will be used to verify your survey confirmation to ensure that you're eligible for the $14.42 per child stipend. But if you made any other mistake on the survey, you do not need to do anything. The most important piece of the survey is your certification. All other details, excluding your license number, will be aggregated to paint a large-scale portrait of how ARPA funding supported childcare providers throughout the United States. And then another subcategory that we're getting a lot of questions about involves our attestation portion of the survey. And I know that some providers are concerned about certification C as it relates to providing relief from co-payments and tuition payments. And we just want to reiterate that we ask that you do this to the extent possible. And the main criteria of the survey is that you used American Rescue Plan Act funding for one or more of the following purposes. And the same applies for employee compensation and benefits. Again, you have to use it for one or more of the following purposes here. Another question that we get often is, are ARPA stabilization subgrants taxable? And the answer is yes. State tax rules apply. And regarding federal tax rules, please contact the IRS. Okay, and so the next resource that I'm going to go over before jumping into a demo of the live survey is our ARPA survey completion guide. And this is a tool that we created to just help guide you as you're going through the survey on your own. And we have little notes and comments throughout on this completion guide. And so at the top, we just say that we ask that providers fill out all the information on the ARPA survey to the best of their ability. This is to help us meet our federal reporting requirements with this American Rescue Plan Act funding. It's okay if some of your data is entered in imprecisely. We're very grateful for your time in completing this survey. And then the first question, are you a California state preschool program? And the CSPP is a very specific state-funded childcare program. If you are a CSPP contractor or a family child care home provider participating in a CSPP family child care home education network, please select yes. But if you're not, or if you're unsure, please select no. And again, similarly for question 2, if you're unsure whether or not you're licensed, you likely aren't, so you can select no for that option. And this is just a note that if you are a child care center and you have multiple licenses, you have to complete one survey for each license number. And number 4, an investment must be selected here. So if you were to click none of the above on the survey, you would be disqualified. But if you're caring for a subsidized child, you can indicate that you received reimbursement based on certified hours of care rather than attendance. And you can also indicate that you received supplemental rate payments, which encompass the rate increases that went into effect in January of 2021. So all subsidized providers will have received those 2 investments. And then if you cared for a subsidized child in April 2022, which would make you eligible for the $14.42 per child stipend, you can also indicate that investment. Another question that we get frequently is, do you have a federal employer identification number? And again, if you're unsure, please select no. And for this question 17, you must select that either your program was licensed, certified, regulated, or registered on or before March 11th, or that your program meets all CCDF health and safety requirements. So if you select none of the above, you would be disqualified from the survey here. And for 18, again, you have to select that you're either open or temporarily closed. If you indicate that you've closed on the survey, you will be disqualified. And 19, this is a reminder for family child care home licensees. We're aware that this question is a little awkward. It isn't phrased in a way that truly acknowledges how your license works. So since you don't have an age capacity. So if you are a family child care home licensee, please estimate the child ages that you typically serve below. And then for your current monthly operating expenses, again, please do your best to estimate these expenses. And this should be per license number, and it's okay if this figure is a rough estimate. And as I mentioned, you must indicate that you're using the funds for one or more of the following purposes below. And we have this attestation that you have to sign. And this is because the federal government wanted to make sure that this funding was being used to provide childcare that adheres to public health standards during the pandemic. And again, for 3, just want to reiterate that funding needs to be used for one or more of the following purposes. And the subgrant duration here only refers to the amount of time it takes you to spend the ARPA funding. And again, this relates to our FAQ. Again, you have to use the funding for one or more of the following purposes. It's okay if you can't provide relief from co-payments and tuition payments. Okay, so next I'm going to go into the online survey. And just reiterating that if you're unsure if you're a CSPP program, you can indicate no here. And I'm going to complete the survey twice. So the first time I'm going to complete it is if I'm licensed with the California Department of Social Services. And I'm going to go over the differences in the survey. So you'll see different options depending on your answer here. So I'm going to enter my 9-digit license number. And you have to repeat it to verify your license number. And then you can see here that there are a few options that will not appear if I indicate that I'm license exempt. So I'll see the license provider stipend based on license capacity, as well as the license provider incentive. So I'm going to indicate that I received reimbursement based on certified hours of care rather than attendance, supplemental rate payments, and the $14.42 per child stipend. And here you can see if I select yes, that I have a federal employer identification number, I can enter it right here. But if I select no, that pop down option won't appear. I'm going to enter my child care name, his address. And my name. And phone number with area code. And then the next option or the next question asks about my race. You can always say decline to state here. The next question asks about ethnicity. Again, there's still that decline to state option. And then the next one asks about my gender identity. Similarly, another decline to state option if you don't feel comfortable. And so number 11 relates back to that second question that I answered, whether I'm licensed. So I can see that I only have two options. I'm either a licensed center or a licensed family home. And here I'm going to indicate that my program meets all currently required CCDF health and safety standards. And again, just as a reminder, if I were to say none of the above here, the survey would disqualify me. And for 13, I'm going to say that I'm open. If I say that I'm temporarily closed, the survey asks when I plan to reopen. And then for this one, I'm just going to estimate the ages of the children that I typically serve. And then 15, I'll answer whether or not I'm currently serving children receiving childcare subsidies. And then for 16, I'm going to estimate my monthly expenses. And this includes rent, mortgage utilities, goods to continue childcare, training, PPE, cleaning and sanitizing supplies, and mental health support for staff and children. And then I'm going to indicate what I plan to use this funding for. And then here you can see that I'm at the attestation page. And so I can sign and write my name. And then if I hit submit, the survey will be complete. But I'm going to go back and complete the survey as if I'm a licensed exempt provider. So you can see how the survey changes. Okay, I'm going to say no here, that I'm not operating at a facility that's licensed by CDSS. And you can see that those licensed incentives and stabilization stipends are not visible. And everything on here is the same. That you can see for question 9, the type of program has changed. And I just want to flag that I know that a lot of our family, friend, and neighbor providers might be living with a child that they provide care to. And so if that's the case, you could answer either that you provide care in the provider's home or the child's home. And then here I'm going to indicate the children that I currently serve. And then I'm going to press submit to show you the screen that you should see. And if you see this screen, your survey has been successfully submitted. Okay. So with that, I'm going to stop my share and turn it back to Romy. And we will place the links, to these resources in the chat for you to have as a reference. And now I will turn it over to Jigna, who will be leading us in our live Q&A.
Thank you, Corey. We're going to do our live Q&A. Please use the raise your hand feature to ask a live questions. You can also type your questions in the chat. Let's start with Chanel Ardone. Chanel, can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, it's okay. My question's been answered already. I see it in the questions, the Q&A, so it's been answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Deborah Corley Martez. Deborah, can you please unmute yourself? Deborah, are you able to unmute yourself? Okay, let's try Gisela Vega. Gisela, can you unmute yourself?
Sí, ya contestaron mi pregunta también que tenía. Gracias.
Gracias. Next person, Ruby Toka. Ruby?
Bueno, ¿me escucha?
Yes.
Ok, entonces, bueno, ya me contestaron la pregunta. El dinero lo van a entregar para el 1 de junio, ¿verdad?
El dinero
¿Aló?
sí, el dinero será entregado entre este verano, entre junio y septiembre.
Ok, ¿y depende de los niños que uno tenga o va a ser por cómo? Supongo, si tengo 10 niños del gobierno, va a ser eso por la cantidad esa por niño.
Jigna, they're asking if it's per child or per license.
My understanding that it's a per child stipend.
Ok, están diciendo que es por niño, no por licencia, por cada niño que cuidó.
Oh, ok. Gracias, muy amable. Dios le bendiga.
De nada, igualmente.
Afternoon, can you hear me okay?
Yes, Deborah.
And I have to apologize. I had to run out. There's so much going on, but this is my question here. If, where do we go if we have to fill out another W-9 with community colleges? Because I might already have a W-9 with community college. And then the next question
Deborah.
is, sorry, did you hear me, Rachel?
Yeah, I heard you. Let me check with them to see if you have to do another one if they already have one on file from a prior payment.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And
Then
I can get back.
Okay, great. Thank you. Then, and the next question is, you know, where do providers go if they feel that they've already filled out the ARPA survey a couple of times, but yet when the contractor receives the funds, a provider wants to make sure that they, for any reason, didn't slip through the cracks, and the contractor says, well, we don't have a confirmation that you did fill it out. So where does a provider go to receive confirmation that they filled out the ARPA survey and the proper one by June 1st? And I apologize for the noise, but I am a provider.
We understand. So there are a couple ways that providers can verify their survey has been received by the department. One is that they're supposed to get a confirmation email, but we understand that many providers have not been getting that due to reasons I don't understand. That's not working properly for many providers. Another way a provider can verify survey receipt is they can email us, And we do get those emails all day, every day, and we're able to look for providers in our export files and verify surveys been completed and respond by email. So you can email us at ccpb@dss.ca.gov and we can check for you. And the alternative payment programs and other agencies that pay providers, they also receive those export files. So you can check with them or they can check themselves, before they issue payment. But if the provider wants to check, they can email us or their alternative payment program to check.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. And lastly, that 45 days, how are providers supposed to know the date that a contractor actually received the funds so that we know that we're receiving the funds within that 45-day time limit that the state has given the contractor and keeping them honest and upfront? Thank you.
So the funding has been released to the alternative payment programs only. So those are the only entities for whom funding has been released. However, it happened this week, but we have to leave some time for snail mail for those contractors that receive a paper check. Some receive funding by direct deposit, but some receive a paper check. So I think, giving a week for snail mail, I think we can start the timeline next week sometime. The 45-day timeline is probably a pretty close guesstimate.
Thank you so much. We'll do that. Have a great day.
Thank you, Deborah. Next, Silvana Jimenez. Silvana? Okay, let's try Martha Angelica Lopez. Martha?
Sí, buenas tardes. Yo tengo una pregunta. Entré tarde al Zoom, al meeting, para hacer el ARPA. ¿Qué página es la que voy a usar para poder hacer el ARPA para la aplicación?
Can our Spanish translator please help me?
They're
Just
asking for the website where to complete the ARP, the survey. La dirección es en el siguiente, ahorita le doy la dirección. Am I able to type it into the chat? Or is that only for panelists?
You should be able to type it into the chat. I will place it in the chat as well.
Ok, aquí van a poner el link. Ahora si oprimen el icono de chat, ahí le van a poner la dirección donde puede completar toda la información ahí. La encuesta del ARPA.
Ok, muchísimas gracias. Será todo.
Ok, de nada.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
yes.
Hello, I have a question regarding the ARPA survey that if a person have a children by the month of June 1st, and then they transfer to another provider, will the children that they already leave, will they count on the ARPA survey or not? Because the ARPA survey is per child, right? And they just leave by the June 1st. Will you guys still give us like the refund for those children or no?
Let me make sure I'm understanding properly. Are you saying that you did provide care to a child receiving subsidies in April 2022, but you're no longer caring for that child?
You are right, yes.
You would still qualify for a stipend for that child. As long as you're open and available to provide childcare, you're eligible for the stipend.
Got you. Thank you.
Next, let's try Deanna Sanabria. Deanna?
Yes. Hello?
Hi.
Hi. I was wondering because I know I do my like all my childcare provider stuff. I do it through the county. And so I wouldn't know like my license number or any of that. So I mean, I know that I did the childcare for 2 children in that time frame and I'm still doing it now. So would I be eligible for it, and how would I know if I'm eligible for it?
So you said you get your administering childcare associated with the county. Can
Yes.
you tell me what county office that is?
Yes, it's Riverside County and it's in Moreno Valley.
Is that like stage 1, children enrolled in stage 1 or the bridge program?
They're barely in June they're gonna switch it over to the stage 1.
Okay. It sounds to me like they probably are enrolled in stage 1 now or the bridge program. And you're getting paid by the County Human Services Department, in which case your stipend will be issued by the Foundation for California Community Colleges. So just to provide a little level setting, some county offices contract out stage 1 to an alternative payment program, and some of them administer the program within the county office, but the county office is unable to issue stipends. So the Department of California Department of Social Services contracted with the Foundation for California Community Colleges to issue those payments on behalf of the County Welfare Department. So your stipend would be coming from the foundation, it sounds like, and you can contact them directly to inquire about your stipend. And I think we put the contact information in the chat, but we can add it again.
Okay, yeah, because I need a call to find out, because I know I did the survey. I had did it online. I mean, I answered it as best as I was able to, but I mean, I'm just not sure if I'm eligible for it or not.
If you provided childcare to children receiving subsidies from any of CDFS's programs in April 2022, you would be eligible. Yeah, especially if you're still providing childcare to those children.
Yeah, I'm still doing it now.
Yeah, so I would just reach out to the foundation. We can put the phone number and the email address in the chat, and they'd be able to tell you.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Let's go to Chelsea Alvarez.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my question's a little similar. I'm an exempt care provider out of my home because I care for my my sister's children. So I just redid the survey. I know the first time it said I wasn't eligible. I'm not sure what the difference was, but I had to update my phone number anyway. So my question is, I don't have a license number, but that doesn't matter, right? As long as you're a care provider within that time frame. And I'm through Community Connections, by the way.
Yes, licensed exempt providers are eligible as long as you cared for a child receiving a subsidy in the subsidy programs that we mentioned earlier.
Subsidy, yeah, that's where I wasn't sure. I didn't see Community Connections listed. I don't know if that falls under one of those categories.
So Community Connections, I believe, is an alternative payment program. So they're the organization that pays you, but there are contracts through the state for the different types of vouchers. And CDSS sends the funds to Community Connections, and then they pay the vouchers.
Okay, great. So just to be clear, Connections is one of them and subsidized and everything's good.
Yes,
Awesome. Thank you so much.
thank you. Gloria Frias.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, I would like to know, so, for the family childcare providers, so that means they're qualified, and they need to write their license, right? Their license number. And this is approved since April 2022, right?
Yes.
So, for the ones, they were closed, like for 2 weeks, they were sick and they were closed for 2 weeks because of COVID. So that means, they're gonna still qualify because they were only 2 weeks closed and they still the all year round open.
If they were caring for a child in April of 2022,
Mhm.
then they would be eligible.
Even they were closed like 2 weeks for COVID.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Laverne McGill.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
How are you guys?
good. How are you?
Great. I don't have any questions.
Okay, well, thank you for
Hello?
being here. Yes,
Okay, I was making sure you can hear me.
yes. You said you don't have any questions, Laverne?
No, no questions.
Okay, well, thank you for being on the call.
Okay, thank you.
Lori Fontaine.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The only question I have is if I did not mark the 1,442 per child box on the survey, because I misunderstood, because we have not yet received that, can I redo the survey?
You can, but you don't need to.
Oh,
It's
okay,
not
so it
going to
doesn't
prevent you from-
disqualify you?
It doesn't. No, it's
Oh.
not based on the survey.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Next, we have Lisa Sandoval. Lisa?
Hi, thank you. Rachel answered my question, but I just want to clarify. We are receiving the where you have to verify that, and since CMIG is empty and I know we're verifying, so we're looking at the prior month of operation, which would have been October. Are you guys doing that internally, or how are we making sure that that's covered when we're asked to verify that the numbers are correct?
That would be a question for fiscal. They were the ones, I think, that sent the call out for, validation of enrollment numbers.
Okay, and I have
So
emailed
that-
them a couple times to confirm, and our individual person, so I'll just keep banging on their door.
Yeah, the email box that I've had good success getting responses from is childdevelopmentfiscal@dss.ca.gov.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I was sending it, and then I did some individual. So I'll just keep doing it to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Precious Johnson. Precious?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the information that you provided. I had a couple of questions. One is my assistant was a exempt provider for her grandson up until he moved out of the area. And she received her last check on March of 2022. Does she qualify for this program?
She had to have been providing care in April 2022 to qualify for this stipend.
April, okay, okay. And is that per kid? I understand that part. And is it gonna be per kid? I think you answered that already. You said yes, but is this a one-time payment or how long is this gonna be?
It's a one-time per child payment based on April 2022 enrollment.
Okay, thank you so very much for your time.
You're welcome.
April 20.
Next, we have Chris Jayawardene. Chris?
Hi, I just wanted to find out, thank you, first of all, thank you so much for organizing this call. We have two licenses. One is preschool, one is under infant care. So do we fill up two surveys or one with both license numbers?
I'm so sorry. Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, hold on. So we have two licenses under preschool. One is for infant care and the other one is for preschool license. So do we fill up both license numbers on the survey?
Right.
Or is it two different surveys, one for each license?
That's correct. It's two different surveys, one for each license. That's what the federal government requires.
But it will be under the same EIN.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, we have James Messias. James?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think you already said it before, but on question 4, I don't remember selecting the $14.42 per child stipend. Even if I didn't select it, will I still get paid on it?
Yes, it's not, the ARPA survey is not actually an application for the stipend. So no worries, if you're eligible for it, you would receive it even if you didn't check that off.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to acknowledge all of you. We have 86 hands raised, so we are trying our best to be able to answer all of your questions. So thank you for your patience. Next, we have Carla Zelaya. Carla? Okay, let's try Donna Gaines. Donna?
Hi. The question I have is when I apply for the stipend, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be per kid or how does it work as far as that?
So it is a per child stipend based on the children that you had in your care in April of 2022.
Of 2022. Okay, so if I have 8 kids now and I had 4 kids then it would be referred to as toward the 4 kids. Is that correct?
Yes, it would be based on the children in your care in April.
At that time. Okay, I got it. Thank you so much.
Let's try Carla Zelaya again. Carla? Okay, let's try Esther Padilla. Esther?
Hi, good afternoon. We are a licensed family care, and while filling out the number 8, the question asks for the program's name, and then on the bottom it says the address, and then it asks provider legal business name. Would those two be the same?
They could be. If you don't have a separate legal business name or DBA, which stands for doing business as, then you would just put your name. Some providers do, some providers don't.
Okay, yeah, we have a name for our business, so we would just put that on both of them, correct?
You would put your business name for number, I can't remember what number that is, where it asks for the contractor, provider, legal business name, and then you would put your name for the next question for the provider name.
Correct, but right on top, question on number 8 has childcare program name, if any. That would be the same name as our legal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll check on that, and then on question number 15 there, that's just indicating, I just want to double check on that one, indicating the amounts maximum for that group age, not what we have or what you can have, correct, as a license. For instance, we're a large care license facility, which is 14 kids. We're not putting like different group ages that you can have for that 14. You're how many you can have in that group age.
Yeah.
Understand that
That's
question?
right. Yeah, we get a lot of questions about that particular question. It was kind of worded funny.
Yeah. Yeah,
It doesn't really work for our licensed family childcare homes, or you can do a range depending on the ages of the kids. So just do your best. That was a federal requirement, that question, to be asked in that way, which doesn't really fit for California and how we license. So thanks for doing your best. Just however many you're serving now, within your license capacity works too.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you guys for the webinar. Good afternoon.
You're welcome. Thank you. Griselda Marquez. Griselda?
Sí,
Hi.
sí.
Yes.
¿Aló?
Yes.
Sí, mi nombre es Griselda Márquez. ¿Sí me escucha?
Sí, la escuchamos.
Sí, mi pregunta es que yo no sé mucho de la tecnología y ayer mi hija me dijo como más o menos meterme y yo me metí antes de las 3, pero aquí estuve con ustedes y estuve escuchando parte en inglés y no entendía nada, pero después no sé cómo le hice y me encontré aquí y ya estoy conectada con ustedes. Pero la pregunta, yo no llené nada de lo que ustedes estaban diciendo. ¿Ustedes me van a mandar esa forma para llenarla o yo tengo que buscarla? ¿Cómo va a estar eso?
Sí, puede entrar en el chat, ahí está el correo, la dirección donde puede entrar a llenar la encuesta.
O en el chat está.
Sí,
Ok.
sí.
Y ¿qué le iba a decir? Pues yo cuido mis 3 nietos. Yo no tengo licencia, yo tengo como que 3 años cuidándolos, casi más de 3 años cuidando.
Ujú.
Entonces,
Al llenar la
ajá.
encuesta, ahí, aunque no tenga licencias, puede llenar la encuesta y ahí van a decirle si es elegible para recibirlo. Si es elegible para recibir los pagos si cuidó a niños de subsidio por parte del Departamento de Servicios Sociales.
Ok. Pues yo cuido niños del programa del Pathway. No sé si
Pathways,
es.
sí.
Ajá. Pues ellos yo los cuido y aparte recibo una cantidad del ese de seguros del que me dan 150 del seguro social, creo que es.
Sí, sí,
De-
entonces si entra a esta dirección y llena
Ajá.
la encuesta y al
Ajá.
recibir, si son parte del programa Alternative Payment de pagos alternativos, ahí lo más seguro es que sí va a calificar.
Ok, si al caso lo llena, ¿está en español?
Sí, sí, está
Ok.
disponible en inglés, español y en
Ok. Si
lenguaje
al
de...
caso no lo entiendo muy bien, así lleno lo que puedo, no importa, todavía está bien.
Sí, al llenarlo,
Ujú.
vamos a poner otra dirección aquí en el chat donde pueden mandar sus preguntas y
Ajá.
ahí le pueden confirmar si si lo llenó completo.
Ok, bueno, voy a llenar lo que pueda, ¿verdad? Porque no estoy muy bien, casi no sé mucho de estas cosas, ¿verdad? Pero voy a tratarlo.
Ok,
Ok.
aquí le vamos
Y
a
si
poner en el chat.
y si a un caso calificara, como para cuándo estarían llegando los cheques, si a un caso yo calificara.
Sí, este verano, entre junio y septiembre, van a otorgar los pagos.
Oh, ok. Ok, gracias, muy amable entonces.
De nada. Buenas tardes.
Ok, bueno, buenas tardes. Bye.
Thank you. Next, we have Darcy Spicer.
Yes, hello, thank you. Our district has both CCTR and CSPP. And so we, submitted the surveys, but here in the Q&A, I'm seeing that CSPP is not part of this. And so I'm wondering, am I supposed to submit the ARPA survey for our CSPP program separately?
So we do, are your CSPP and other programs all under the same license or licenses?
Yes,
So you
well,
just need to,
some of them are.
go
We
ahead.
have after school, and then we also have CSPP, where within CSPP, some of those kids are served through alternative payment. Not many, but some.
So you don't need to fill out a separate survey for CSPP and non-CSPP, but you do have to fill out a separate survey for each license number.
Yes,
Or,
we did
for
that.
licenses, right? Yeah, so you're good. And then there's the CSPP question. I think it's the first question asking if you administer or operate a CSPP, and you would just check that, even though you're answering for both CSPP and non-CSPP kids.
Yes, okay, that, we've already submitted it, so I just wanted to make sure, because as I'm seeing here that CSPP wasn't included with the stipend, I just wanted to make sure we didn't miss out on it, that we were supposed to submit it through something else, but you're saying just one survey per license is all we needed to do.
That's right.
Okay.
And for
perfect.
licensed exempt centers, it would be one survey per site.
Okay. And then one other question real quick. I believe I remember it saying that we needed to spend the funds by the end of June. Is that still the deadline, or is that going to be extended? Because I'm seeing that the payments are going to come out sometime this summer.
There's no deadline for when providers have to spend the funds. We were hoping to get the funds out to providers before the end of June, but there's no federal deadline or anything like that on how long providers have to spend down their stipends.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. We appreciate the webinar today. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Rocio Salazar. Rocio?
Hola, buenas tardes. ¿Me
Buenas
escucha?
tardes. Sí, buenas tardes.
Mira, mi pregunta es que estoy sirviendo yo a 2 condados porque estoy en medio de 2 condados. Estoy trabajando para Community Connection del condado de Kern y estoy trabajando para el condado de Tulare. Pero he tenido problemas con el condado de Tulare porque para ellos estoy trabajando para el programa de CalWORS y ellos me dicen que no son responsables de darme ningún estipendio a mí, aunque esté sirviendo a sus familias, porque no estoy en su condado de ellos. Mi guardería, mi daycare está en el condado de Kern. Entonces me dice que no pertenezco a su condado de ellos, que solamente puedo recibir los estipendios de mi condado. Pero eso se me hace como injusto porque pues yo he estado trabajando con esos niños, ya voy para 3 años y como para que me digan, no, pues no te podemos dar el estipendio a ti porque no estás en nuestro condado, solamente a las proveedoras que están en nuestro condado de Tulare, ellas sí les podemos dar. ¿Qué solución me dan a esa respuesta, a este problema?
Ok, so la solución es llenar la encuesta. ¿Y usted tiene licencia o no?
Sí, tengo 19 años con mi licencia, ya
Ok.
llené varias veces la encuesta también, pero te digo, si me encuentro con la misma situación que me digan, no le podemos dar el estipendio a usted por CalWORks de Tulare, ¿qué voy a hacer ahí?
El pago va a ser por niño que,
Ujú.
que cuidó. Entonces, llene la encuesta, ya lo hizo, y entonces cada pago será otorgado a base de cuántos niños cuidó.
Sí, pero como te digo, me dicen que como no estoy en su condado de ellas,
Ujú.
no me pueden dar ese dinero. Entonces, ¿qué puedo hacer ahí?
So Jigna, they're asking if they're caring for children in different counties. One of the counties is saying that because they're not within, one of the contractors is saying that because they're not in their county, they can't issue the payment. So I let her know that it was her child, as long as the survey is filled out. So is there different information we can provide?
So let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Can you repeat the?
Yes,
the
so this
question?
provider cares, yes, this provider cares for children in 2 different counties with 2 different contractors. And one of the contractors in one of the counties is saying they can't issue the payment. I let her know that the payments are coming per child, not per contractor. So is there different information?
Are they alternative payment programs? Do you know, Esme?
¿Usted sabe si el condado donde usted trabaja los subsidios, el pago que recibe es el programa alternativo, alternative payment?
A ver, permíteme.
She's gonna check.
Es Stage 1.
Stage 1.
Stage 1. Ajá.
So that could be explaining, I sort of answered this question a little bit earlier, that the county welfare departments that administer stage 1 in-house are not able to issue stipends. So for those payments, we've contracted with the Foundation for California Community Colleges to issue those payments. So that could be, it wasn't really an out-of-county issue, but that could be the reason why the county said they wouldn't be issuing the stipend payment.
Oh, I see. Sí, los de stage
That
1.
could be the explanation.
Ok, entonces lo que tengo que hacer es llamar por teléfono a la fundación.
Sí, así es, correcto.
Ok, bueno, gracias.
Sí, de nada. Okay, I think we clarified the question.
Okay, thank you.
Next, Shantae Flournoy. Shantae?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I'm not quite sure if this has been answered already. I filled out the survey. But did they say, so correct me if I'm wrong, because I might be wrong, because I'm helping with homework and listening. When did they say the stipends would start going out, or have they said, or?
The stipends will start going out in summer of 2023. So between June and September of 2023.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Okay, that is it for me. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Great information. And we can leave now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Simin Akrami. Simin, can you please unmute yourself?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Hi. Oh, okay. Thanks. I'm a license provider. Always I was open. And last year, I'm like a small, like a 8 for 8 kids. But my license is for 8, but I take care like 12 kids because it's some of was part-time and I'm open 7 days a week. Just I have a question. They will pay me by license or by kids I take care?
It's a per child stipend, so it's by the number of kids.
Oh, it's like with 2 agency. It doesn't matter if I did one survey, if the survey is okay or not. Still, I will got. I try do my best, but I don't know. Maybe some question because my English is not that much good. Maybe I did wrong or I hopefully it's fine. But if the survey is not good, still I will give because I'm enrolled. I will give from the agency for the the eligible low income kids from 4 season heavily. That is I will give, yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Check now?
Yes.
If I may. Hi, Simin. From your name, I assume that you can speak Farsi, right?
Oh, yeah.
سلام. بفرمایید سوالتان میشه بپرسید.
گفتم که ما چیز است لیسانس برای 8 نفر است ولی ما چون روز هفته باز کیتس ما پارت تایم تیکر میکنم از 2 تا ایجنسی چیز میگیرم مثلا چک میگیرم باز برام 12 تا کیتس یا میته یعنی که طبق لیسانس میرن
بانو اکرمی $1442 استایپند که هسته بر اساس تعداد طفلایی که شما در اپریل سال 2022 داشتین بر اساس نمبری که شما مثلا تعداد طفلایی که در اون زمان خدمات اجرا کردیم بر اساس همون نمبر براتون پرداخت میشه. به این مفهوم است که بر اساس نمبری که تعداد طفلی که بر اساس لایسنس شما نگهداری میکنین بر اساس از اون نیست و یا هم بر اساس تعداد طفلی که فعلا دارین بر اساس این هم نیست بر اساس نمبر طفلی است که در اپریل سال 2022 شما داشتین.
12 تا طفل داشتم.
12 تا که داشتین حتما برای هر 12 طفل دریافت میکنین در صورتی که اونا همو در پروگرام یا سبساید چالکر پروگرام این
یا اون از همو بودن.
هم دیگه سوال هست؟
دیگه سرویش ما ترای کردم دو مای بیست یعنی با او نیست که اگر یک ذره از پیش یادم خراب شده باشه یا چی که ما مثلا نتانم بگیرم چیز با او کار نخواد داشت.
تا زمانی که لایسنس نمبرتون درست رسانده باشین دیگه شما چیز ندارید ضرورت ندارید که اگر کدام مشکل اشتباهی هم شده باشه به خاطر که ریکارد شما را ما آلترناتیو پیمنت پروگرام ها می داشته باشن بر اساس از اون ما اجرا میکنیم استایپند. خب
بله ما مسیج کردم میک شور برای می سی چیز باز گفتن که ما چی است دیدیم که تو خود سروی کردی you are like active. یکی بود یک سوال دیگه از دوست بود او لیسانس داشت last year ولی هیچش مربوط از این چیز نمیشد این همون تو مثلا پیرنتس برش پی میکرد او آیا یک کدام پروگرام است یا دمی پروگرام که او بتانه گرفته یا نه
این استایپند دریافت کردن نمیتونم به خاطر که
دیگه هست
دیگه برای پروایدرایی که مثلا سبسیدی چایلد نداشته باشه فعلا ما نداریم یک پروگرام یا فنده که باشه میتونن که اونا در بعضی پروگرام به وبسایت خود CDSS مراجعه کنن بعضی پروگرامایی هستن که میتونن اونجا اپلای بکنن یا هم میتونن که ما اگر خواستین ما میخوایم بنویسین ما براتون ایمیل آدرس میتونم از چالکر بیرو را چالکر پالیسی بیرو را سو به اون میشه ایمیل بکنین ما میشه میتونن که برشان لینک
yes please بتونم به سایت بسیار میبخش
ایمیل آدرس ما هست ccpb
اوکی
at dss
sdss.ca.gov.
DSS,
SDSS.ca.gov.
okay, dot CA dot GOV. Oh, okay. این چی مانا CSPP ای باز چی بود که پیشتر یک خانم گفت ای باز دیگه یک پروگرام است که برای کسایی که چی است؟
اونا شاید در مورد CSP سوال کرده باشن. اونا هم به نوع از پروفایدر هستن.
خب اوکی، تشکر زیاد، زنده باشه.
Tashakkur. Check now? Yes. Yeah. Answer their question. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. So we only have time to answer one or two more questions. And I want to let all of you know that we have another webinar next week on May 10th, and that is in the evening. We can send out more information on that if you'd like to attend that webinar. I'd like to unmute Wanda Woods. Wanda, do you have a question? Wanda? Okay, let's try Maria Verdugo. Maria? Maria?
Sí, buenas tardes. ¿Sí se escucha?
Sí, buenas tardes.
Sí, mi pregunta es, yo soy proveedora y apenas estoy entrando a estos programas de ayuda. ¿Se puede entrar a dos programas al mismo tiempo, como puede ser ARPA y el subsidio que están dando ahorita para las proveedoras de los niños que tenía en el trabajo?
She's asking if she could apply for both ARPA and for the previous stipends that they were giving for childcare providers.
No, those stipends have ended. So the only stipend that's currently being issued is this one. That's the only one left.
Okay. ¿Cómo?
¿Cuál es el que queda ahorita?
El de ARPA.
Ah, ok.
Sí,
Sí, eso
el otro
quería
ya terminó.
asegurarme.
Oh, okay. Bueno. Sí.
Otra pregunta. Es
Sí.
que yo ya entré al programa de ARPA.
Ujú.
Ya llené la aplicación. Cuando llené la aplicación, yo tengo la licencia de 14 niños.
Sí.
En ese momento yo tenía 6 niños. Y ya me llegaron otros 6 niños. Entonces, ¿qué puedo hacer ahí?
Okay, so when she first filled out the survey, she has a license for 14 children and she had 6 children. Now she has more children. Does she need to retake the survey since the number of children have increased?
Is she currently still serving children receiving subsidies?
¿Aún cuida niños que le pagan por los subsidios?
Sí.
Yes.
Then I would retake the survey based on a larger license, and she still is receiving ARPA-funded benefits.
Okay, entonces que por favor retome la encuesta.
Ok, es que ya hace más de 2 meses que la llené, pues.
Sí.
ARPA. Y
Es
pues
favor de
entonces,
llenarla de nuevo. Ajá.
entonces
And
volverla a
also
llenar.
because her license number will have changed with the capacity increase, so that way everyone can see that her current license, is straight with the ARPA survey.
Okay. En dado caso, para clarificar y confirmar su número de licencia, si ha incrementado el número de su licencia.
No, el número de licencia no incrementó.
Nomás la
Incrementó
cantidad de niños. Ajá. Okay, so the license number did not change, only the number of children. So even though she was licensed for 14, she was only carrying 6.
Got it. She doesn't need to do another survey for that.
Ok, si no ha cambiado
Yeah.
su número de licencia, entonces no hace falta llenarlo de nuevo.
Porque estaba oyendo yo ahorita que es por niño, no es por
Sí.
número de licencia.
She's saying because they are paying per child, not per license, and now she has more children that she's caring for.
The stipend is not based on the ARPA survey. It's based on child enrollment that we get through, the 801A enrollment reports for April 2022. So it won't impact her eligibility for stipend.
Ok, so no va a impactar su elegibilidad. Estamos hablando del abril del 2022 y no va a afectar su elegibilidad para los pagos.
Oh, ¿no afecta entonces?
No,
Va a ser la misma de 6 que apliqué para 6 cuando ahora tengo 12.
so she'll get the same payment for 6 versus the 12 children she's caring for now.
So the payment is based on April 2022 enrollment. So however many subsidized children she was caring for in April 2022, that's what the payment would be based on.
Entonces el pago es basado en la cantidad de niños que tenía en abril del 2022.
Oh, 2022. Ok. Muy bien. Eso quería asegurar. Gracias, muy amable.
Sí, de nada. Thank you.
Thank you. So we need to wrap things up. Thank you all for your questions. I know that we have sent a lot of you to the CCPD at dss.ca.gov website. And I'd like to ask that you have grace and patience with us because we are responding to those questions as quickly as we can. So thank you for that. We also encourage you to go to this ARPA survey website or contact your alternative payment program with questions about the survey. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.